Imagination is the preview to life's coming attractions. Imagine your imagination is the preview to life's coming attractions. Are you operating, ladies and gentlemen, are you operating out of your imagination or are you operating out of your memory? Big thing for us that want to go off and design the life that we want. You want to go off and design the life that you deserve. You have to get really good at operating out of our imagination when oftentimes we're operating out of our memory, right? What is operating out of your memory? Operating out of your memory is having the thoughts of what you've already done, what you can do, what you feel like you can't do, what you've tried in the past, what someone has said to you in the past, the reason why that business didn't get off the ground, the reason why your finances didn't do what they were supposed to do, the reason why that relationship didn't happen. We're operating out of our memory, out of things that we feel like we know because we've experienced. The key to success, the key to getting to the place that you want to go in life, the key to designing your ideal life, the key to, again, just getting to the place in life that you want to be is operating out of your imagination. It's knowing that you can design your life. That's why I say that to you. When I say, like, hey, you design the life you don't need a break from, design your ideal life. It's because most people, what do I say? Most people just take the life that they're given, they take the life that they're handed. But this, the most successful, the people that really strive for greatness, for the things that they want, they know that they can design their ideal life. It starts with here, right? It starts with how we think about it, right? Steve Harvey gave that quote at the end. He said, "Life is what life is 10% what happens to us, 90% how we react to it. Life is 10% what actually happens to us, 90% how we react to it. So if we react better, if aka if we think better, which allows us to control our thoughts, control our actions, control our habits, control our behaviors, right? If we can think differently about it, then we can get a different outcome, which means we can design the life that we want. We don't always believe that. We don't always think that, but it's so true. First things first, have you written it down? Have you written down your vision? Do you know what your ideal life looks like? Not just what you want to do for work. Because when I ask that question to a lot of people, normally that's the first place they go. This is what I will or won't be doing for work. Got it. But what about the rest of your life? What about the other areas of your life? Have you designed what an ideal relationship looks like for you? Have you designed what ideal marriage looks like for you? Have you designed where you spend your time? Yes. Have you designed how much money comes in and how much you have in savings? Have you designed how much where you spend time in your business or in your personal life or traveling? Like if you can design your ideal life, have a vision for it, and then operate out of your imagination. That's the key. Operating out of your imagination, operating out of the piece of your brain that is future thinking, forward thinking. That's something you haven't yet seen. That is the key. That's what we got to learn to do, right? If we want to get to our ideal life. I found this chapter in the text, 177 mental toughness secrets of the world class, talks about ideas being the solution to success. So ideas are part of our imagination. You heard Steve Harvey in that video talk about, right? Don't share, one of the worst things you can do is share your ideas with small-minded people. It's very true. It's very true. But I also want to give the other side of it is that your ideas need to be shared with the right people in order for them to grow. I've been around a bunch of people. I've coached a bunch of people through this process. I coach people daily when they have an idea or something that, they're thinking about and they won't share it with me. Right. And I find myself a safe guy, right? A safe space for people. I'm not stealing people's ideas or right bashing people's ideas. I'm a pretty safe space to talk about these types of things because I'm an entrepreneur. All right. And so I come across a lot of people that choose to not want to tell me. It's like, oh, I got this idea. Oh, well, what are you thinking about? I don't really talk to people about it. It's like, well, when we're on that side and we're not sharing our ideas, then we can't get the answers that we're looking for. We can't get the resources that we're looking for. We can't get the help that we're looking for if we don't actually share those ideas. I understand the other side is sharing the ideas with the wrong people, right? Kill those ideas because we don't want to share them with small-minded people because we've all experienced that where you have a big dream and a parent or a close relative or someone that you look up to says, no, that's not possible for you. They put their limiting beliefs on us. So that's where we can get there. But please understand, guys, you got to share your ideas. It says here in 177 Mental Toughness Secrets, the ideas are the solutions to success. It's just the ideas. Everything that you see at some point, right, in your life was in somebody's brain at one point. It was just an idea. It was just they were operating out of their imagination. So how much are you doing that for your life? Here's what it says in the text. It says ideas are the business champion's primary asset. They have the power to alter the world for the better. Average people greatly underestimate the potential value of their own ideas. Professional performers know money will flow from any idea that solves a problem, and the bigger the problem, the richer the payoff. Champions cultivate their own ideas and the ideas of other world-class performers. The great ones are always engaged in critical thinking as it relates to problem solving, and as a result, treat ideas with the respect they deserve. Amateur performers tend to dismiss many ideas before they have a chance to be properly evaluated and tested. When things get tough, the masses turn to others for help. When times get tough for champions, they turn their attention to the inner workings of their minds so they can capture and cultivate great ideas that can help turn things around. Average performers turn to outside sources when money gets tight, but the great ones get quiet and focus on their thoughts and feelings, looking for ideas on how to raise money fast. Most people never take their ideas beyond the talking stage, but if champions believe in the idea, they move to the next step without hesitation, right? Ideas are the solution. We get paid to think as an entrepreneur, outside of having a job. You know, guys, I talk a lot about the employee mindset versus the entrepreneur mindset, not just specifically having a job versus not having a job, but the mindsets that come with it, the mindsets of the entrepreneur mindset. If it is to be, it's up to me, right? The employee mindset, right? It kind of takes it as it comes, right? Takes the work as it comes. So same thing in the employee minded side. You're getting paid to work. You get paid to do your job. You get paid to do your task. You trade time for money, that side. On the entrepreneur side, you get paid for ideas. You get paid to solve problems. You get that. That's the difference. We don't get paid for a task. We get paid to solve a problem, no matter how long it takes, no matter how much many resources or how much time or energy it takes. I'm getting paid to solve this problem versus just doing the task. And so once you understand that, ladies and gentlemen, you want to get to your ideal life. You want to get to a life you don't need a break from. You want to get to the place where you control and you own all the aspects of your life. You got to know it starts with your imagination. It starts with your ideas. It starts with how can you put yourself in a position to solve more problems. That's really the key. How can you put yourself in a position to solve more problems? How can you be the solution for somebody, no matter what it is? No matter what it is. And again, the bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make. The bigger the problem you solve, the more money you make. But where does all of this flow from? This all flows from our imagination, our thoughts. How are we thinking about it? This is why when you have the job, sometimes it just puts you into a routine where you're no longer using your thoughts for your ideas and then executing on those thoughts. Because you can have the ideas, but if you don't write them down, if you don't share them with people, and then the next step, like it says here, they move to the next step without hesitation. But what's the next step after the having the idea? It's executing on the idea. It's saying, okay, I have this thought, I have this idea. How do I then turn this into reality? How do I solve this problem? How do I make this thing happen? When your mind is at that place, ladies and gentlemen, your mind's at the place of constant, how do I make this happen? What's the solution? Your brain is working out of its imagination and not out of its memory. You have a chance to be successful. When your brain is working out of your imagination, just forward thinking, future thinking, what are the possibilities? How could I make it happen? Those of you that haven't read Rich Dad, Poor Dad, I always recommend it for anyone that is in the process or trying to figure out their journey of entrepreneurship. So there's some key takeaways from that book, Rich Dad, Poor Dad. One of the main takeaways he says is A question opens the mind, a statement closes the mind. So if you make statements to yourself, I can't afford it. I don't have the time. Um, I can't make that happen. I'm not skilled enough. I need a degree, right? When you make statements to yourself, your brain does not have to work to figure out answers. You're commanding it something. The opposite, when you ask yourself questions, how could I afford it? How could I have the time? How do I make that happen? What are the solutions? How do I make that business? Do I really need the degree? When you start asking yourself the questions, your brain has to go to work answering the question and finding the answer. So that's again a simple distinction of how we start operating out of our imagination. We start operating out of our imagination by asking it questions, by being curious. You know, that saying of having childlike curiosity. Childlike curiosity. I have a 7-year old, so she's just curious about everything. She just asks questions about everything. I love it. She'll stop me in mid sentence and be like, "What does that mean? What does that mean?" She's curious about all the stuff. That childlike curiosity. Do we have that as adults? Do we have that for us that want to go off and design our ideal life? Are you curious? Are you operating out of imagination of what the world could be, of what you could possibly do, of what your legacy could possibly be, of how big you could possibly build it, of how many people you can impact? Are you working out of that part of your imagination, or are you operating out of the part of your memory that says, I've never been able to do that? That seems really tough. I don't know anyone that's done that. I don't know that I have the money. I wouldn't even know how to get started, right? Like these are the subtle differences, ladies and gentlemen, the subtle differences that separate us from the average, right? That's what this book is about, right? The average, the performer, the middle class, the person that's stuck, steeped in our society right now versus the great ones, the world class, the ones that are achieving, attaining their goals, high performers, top performers. These are small separations. Do we operate out of our imagination? Do we operate out of our memory? If we can learn how to operate more out of imagination, learn how to operate more out of future, more out of possibility, more out of opportunity, you'll get better results. It's that simple. Easier said than done. I get it. Easier said than done, but it's still the case. That's still what needs to happen. Here's Dale Carnegie had this quote: "The ideas I stand for are not mine. I borrowed them from Socrates. I swiped them from Chesterfield. I stole them from Jesus, and I put them in a book. If you don't like their rules, whose would you use?" Stealing success leaves clues. Taking the thoughts, the ideas, the habits of successful people, of the most successful people, will allow you to get to the place that you want to go. Napoleon Hill says it in Think and Grow Rich. He says, find a millionaire, do as he does, you'll have what he has. Again, not literally, but from a place of find someone that's successful, think about life the way they think about it. Copy some of their actions, copy some of their behaviors, copy some of their mindsets, copy some of their ideas, and you can likely have exactly what they have. That's the secret. That's the formula. Find success, copy that. It's okay to be a copycat as long as you copy the right cat, right? You can copy him and then you can get to the same things. But what we have to be aware of is, are we adapting the ideas and the traits of success? Or are we adapting the ideas and traits of the average, of the middle class, of our families, of our society? What are we choosing to adapt to? That's why calls like this, groups like this, communities like this that help us push to not get sucked into the status quo, the people that are around us, right? That is very it's very likely to happen if we don't have other people pulling us, guiding us. So success leaves clues. So get around the most successful people and start to adapt the habits and traits of them. The action step for today says commit to treat your ideas as if they were the children of your soul, because they are. We all have a bunch of ideas. You all have ideas that are going to get you out of the situations you're in. You all have ideas that will change the world. You all have ideas that will impact people's lives greatly. You all have ideas of exactly what you want to make happen. Now we have to just execute on them. We have to take the next step. We have to get out of the talking stage, out of the ideation stage, and move into execution. If you don't have any of those, close this. If you don't have any ideas right now, which I don't think that's us, but if you don't, then start with the ideation stage. Start with talking about your ideas and talk about them with people like us, people that are safe, people that are other entrepreneurs. Don't talk to them, don't talk about them with, your broke uncle, right? Or your cousin that's been laid off 17 times, or right? Like that's not the person to talk to your dreams about. Talk to your goals and dreams and your big visions with people that also have big visions, that also are getting after it, that also want to design their ideal life. Those are the people that you associate with. And then together, those ideas come to life. Together, we have resources to say, you know what, I could point you in the right direction to that person. Or, you know what, I have a resource for that. And then before you know it, your idea gets off the ground. But let's not mistake this whole thing. It starts with your imagination. If you haven't thought about what ideas you have, take some time and do that. If you have, it's time to put those ideas into the atmosphere, into the world, talk to good people about them, and let's start to execute on them. Your dreams are a lot closer than you think they are. Your dreams are a lot closer than you think they are. You just got to go after it. They're waiting on you, ladies and gentlemen. They're waiting on you. It's too crowded down at the bottom. It's time to get to the top of this thing. All right. I love you guys. I want you to win. You deserve to win. Your families deserve to win. If nobody ever tells you that, I will constantly tell you that because it's true. You deserve all the good things in life that life has to offer, but you got to go get it. It's not just going to come to you, and nobody's going to save you. Just not going to happen. So you got to go get it, but you deserve it. So you got to work hard. You got to make it happen. Go out there, do something that scares you today. We'll be back on Friday for another mindset call. Share this with somebody that needs to hear it. We'll talk to you later this week. All right. Take care.